Alright, so this is going to be part 3, the final part of episode 33. We're moving on to our final topic, and this is going to be a great segment to listen to. I hope you guys go back on our page and listen to this very, very, very carefully. On Apple, I hope you guys listen to this segment very, very, very carefully. So, the final topic, with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers looking to become Super Bowl champions this year, I will explain why Aaron Rodgers needs another Super Bowl ring more than any other quarterback this postseason. So, I believe he needs a second ring to add to his legacy. And in my eyes, and a lot of you agree, he's one of the best quarterbacks we ever watched, talented wise. And I said months ago when I started this topic, I said Tom Brady is the greatest player to ever put on pads because of his grit and his determination to be the best. But I never said that he is the most talented quarterback to ever play the game. You know who I said was more talented than Tom Brady? Not a better player, but more talented. Aaron Rodgers. He's more mobile than Tom Brady. He's got a better arm than Tom Brady. Does he have the success of Tom Brady? No. But in my eyes, he's more talented than Tom Brady. And there might be some of you watching and listening that agree with me. He's a 3-time MVP winner. He has an 11-9 playoff record as a starter with this time with the Packers and in the NFL. The last time he won a Super Bowl was back in 2010 when Mike McCarthy was a good head coach, when they beat Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin's Steelers in 2010. He won his first Super Bowl. But that was a decade ago. Well over a decade ago. 12 years to be exact. Well, going on 12 years, but you guys get the point. But since then, he has lost 4 NFC championships. Losing in 2014 to the Seahawks, where a game they should have put away when they were destroying the Seahawks, and they let Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks come back to lose a dramatic game in overtime in the NFC Championship. You get blown out to the Atlanta Falcons, who did go on to lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but you got blown out to that team who blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. They got blown out to the Falcons in the 2016-2017 season. Fast forward to the 2019-2020 season when they're back in the NFC Championship and they got blown out by the 49ers. Then you go back to last season. They lost to the Bucs in a tightly tested game, which I still believe they should have won that game, went to the Super Bowl. So you do the math on that. That's 4 out of 7 years getting to the second biggest game of the season and coming up short. For claiming this is the last dance in Green Bay this season, after all the stunts that you pulled during the off season, all the talk of there's chances of you retiring, there's chances of you holding out for the season, there's chances of you even being traded and Jordan Love takes over the team. So none of that happens. You come back and you play a great year, and I believe Aaron Rodgers is gonna win MVP this year. You put all that behind you. You lock up the number 1 seed in the NFC, and you're back to where you were. What's that? You're back where you were for the last 3 years, the number 1 seed in the NFC, right? So, doing all those great things and all the controversy that you put on your back, all the talk of you not being a vaccinated player, all that's behind you, right? Because you're balling out, you're putting up MVP numbers, and you got your team right where it should be. And for a player to do all that in the season, blocking out the noise like that, I believe his legacy even grows more if he wins a Super Bowl this season. But here's the catch. If they don't win a Super Bowl this year, I believe in his career, the window for winning another title closes regardless where he plays next year. Regardless if he does stick around in Green Bay, which I don't think he will. Regardless if you get traded to a high-powered offensive team that all they need is a quarterback, I think your Super Bowl window ends here. Because how could you say the franchise is so bad off and there might be things going on behind closed doors that we always don't hear about. But like I just said, you got the NFC Championship game 4 out of 7 years. And you don't capitalize on one of them to make another Super Bowl appearance since 2010. He will be remembered as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, like I said. But look at the quarterbacks who's been around in the last decade. All his mates that he's played against, and all the quarterbacks that we will remember over the last decade or so. Tom Brady, a guy I just named, he has 7 rings, and he's the greatest player to ever put on a pair of pads. He's not catching up to his legacy. Tom Brady, no one's catching up to his legacy in my eyes, ever. You have Peyton Manning, though, one of the greatest to ever do it. He's got 2 championships to his name. He's got 2 rings. You look at Eli Manning, even though I don't think highly of him still to this day. But hey, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. You look at Ben Roethlisberger, even though his career has slowly died down, and I think we've seen the last of him this season. He's still got 2 Super Bowl rings. Russell Wilson has 1 Super Bowl ring, but guess what? He's made it to 2 Super Bowls. Drew Brees has 1 Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, you can even throw in the conversation now, has won a Super Bowl, but has played in at least 2. So you catch my drift. If I sat here and told you that Peyton Manning has had a great career, we will all remember Peyton Manning for all the great things that he's done, all the records that he's broken, all the touchdowns that he's thrown, all the passing yards that he's thrown, all the great memories, right? If I tell you that Peyton Manning went to, 3? No, not 3 in a row, but 4 out of 7 conference championships, and he didn't win one of them, would that affect his legacy? If I told you that Eli Manning, I'm just going to skip Eli Manning. If I told you Ben Roethlisberger made it to 4 conference championships in the last 7 years and didn't win one of them, would that affect his legacy? If I told you Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks with the Legion of Boom made it to 4 NFC championship games in the last 7 years, you don't think that would affect his legacy? If I told you Drew Brees and Sean Payton, that great duo, made it to 4 conference championships and didn't win any, you think that affects his legacy? So what I'm thinking is, you get remembered playing any sport, doing any sport, playing football, playing basketball, playing baseball, UFC winning championships, boxing winning championships. You do anything at a pro level, you remember for what you did, the games you won, and the championships that you won to be considered as one of the greatest of all time. Because we do it with LeBron James in basketball all the time. He's got 4, but he's not up to Michael Jordan. Well, these are the names that I just said in this past generation. Let's throw Aaron Rodgers' name to a Troy Aikman who has 3 rings. Let's throw his name to a Joe Montana. I can go on and on about things like this, but a player, I have never seen a quarterback with as much talent as Aaron Rodgers. I really haven't. He's mobile. He has one of the greatest arms ever. He was the Patrick Mahomes before there was a Patrick Mahomes with a cannon arm. Before there was a Josh Allen with a cannon arm. He has one of the best arms I've ever seen watching the game of football. And yes, he's been in a predicament where he hasn't had the best team around him and not the best coaching staff around him. But when you get the 4 out of 7 and majority of those games you're better than the team that you're playing against, I think that's a big problem. And that's something that needs to be addressed more, because if this was let me compare 2 quarterbacks who never won a Super Bowl in their careers, right? You had Phillip Rivers. How are we going to remember him for his legacy? He was a great player with a great cannon. He can never win the big dance, though. He can never make it to the big dance. He never won a Super Bowl with the Chargers, or the only season he played with the Indianapolis Colts. You look at Tony Romo, a guy who would be knocking at the door, I swear to you, knocking at the door to a Hall of Fame career if he just had a Super Bowl to his name. Are we going to remember Tony Romo much? Well, Cowboys fans will, but 20 years from now, are we really going to remember the name of Tony Romo? No. So what I'm saying is, in order to be remembered as a great in this sport or any pro sport, you have to keep succeeding at a high level. Yes, he has the individual awards, but do you have the conference awards behind your back? At least the conference awards. You get to the Super Bowl and lose, hey, I wouldn't be doing this segment right now. But when you get to the conference championship and you lose, since 2010, 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games in the last 7 years. That's a problem. And and the stunt that he pulled this year with not showing up in training camp and all that, making this the last dance this year at Lambeau Field, we don't know what the future holds. So what I see left is, I see they're better than the San Francisco 49ers that they're playing this weekend. I think they're a much better team matching up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at this moment. And I think they're a better team than the Los Angeles Rams. And you've seen it on the field earlier in the season when they've blown them out at Lambeau Field. So you look at the NFC side, they're the best team left. There's no reason, there's no excuse why they can't make it out of the conference this year. If they don't make it out of the conference, I'm going to make another video saying on this date of 1/19/22 that this is going to affect his legacy when it's all said and done. That you couldn't get out of the conference again. And dare I say, could lose another NFC championship game if it comes down to it. So mark my words, out of all the quarterbacks left, out of Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady, and Matt Stafford that's still left in the dance, this guy needs a ring more than anybody left in the tournament. But that is all the time I have left for you guys in this episode. I want you guys to pay attention to that segment very, very carefully, because I'm telling you, mark my words, if it doesn't happen, you're going to hear it everywhere. You heard it first. You're going to hear it everywhere if he doesn't get out of the conference this year. But it's going to affect his legacy. We will remember him as one. I will remember him as one of the greatest guys that I ever watched throw football. But in Canton, when he gets that golden jacket, are they going to remember him for being better than a Dan Marino, even though he never won a Super Bowl? Are they going to remember him being better than a Joe Montana? Are they going to remember him being better than a Tom Brady? Absolutely not. Are they going to remember him for being better than a Peyton Manning? We'll have to see. All the marbles lie in your hands for Aaron Rodgers to get another Super Bowl this year. But that's all the time I have for you guys for episode 33. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. We're going to have this on our Instagram platform, our Facebook platform, and our YouTube platform, divided in all 3 different segments for you guys. But thank you guys for watching and listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.